My name is Jane Young, and I'm the greenhouse caretaker here at Wheaton College. We do 4 open houses a year during the academic year. They're all on our website. The one I had today is the spring one. I do one during spring break so that there's better parking on campus because there's fewer students around during spring break. And it's open, today was open 11 to 2. And people are welcome to come in and do self-guided tours. They can browse through the greenhouses and see what they're most interested in. I'm always available to answer questions. And additionally, we let people bring in plants that need to be repotted that they don't want to tackle at home. So I always have pots here and potting soil. We accept donations just to cover the cost, but that's not mandatory. And I will either help them repot their plant or I can do the whole thing for them if they prefer not to do it themselves. So several people have brought plants in today to be repotted. Some of them I turned away and said, you don't need it, and if it doesn't need it, there's no point in doing it. One woman in particular brought in a beautiful orchid that's just about to come into bloom, fully budded. I wouldn't touch that with a 10-foot pole because you're apt to damage the buds and it would drop them out. So some people bring them in and they don't need to be repotted and others did. The original greenhouses were on the ground level of the older Science Center, and they were built back in the 1960s. These greenhouses were constructed a year and a half ago, so we moved in. It will be 2 years next September, so they're very new, much higher tech than the original greenhouses, with automatic shade curtains, horizontal air fans that come on when the temperature or the humidity level warrants, automatic fogging systems in each greenhouse, except for the desert house, which I have the fogging turned off because it's usually not humid in the desert. So a lot of the technology here is much different than the older greenhouses were, and the plants do much better because of that. Some of the more interesting plants, we have 2 different species in the cycad family, which are one of the few plants left on Earth today that were around during the time of the dinosaurs. So when I have kids come in for tours, I always tell them to go back home and look in their dinosaur coloring books. And if the plants look like these plants, the person who wrote your coloring book, so to speak, actually did a nice job in researching what plants were around at the time of dinosaurs. So those are usually fun. The other plants I enjoy, we have a cotton tree that actually produces cotton. Right now it just went out of flower, so the cotton pods are forming, and when they get big enough they explode into big bunches of cotton. So that's always fun. This is cotton I harvested last year. And then this is a pod just about ready to start to burst with cotton inside. And this pod here still has the wilted flower. So it flowers, the flower wilts, and then the cotton pod develops behind where the flower falls off. And we have a few examples of insectivorous plants that actually eat bugs. So I don't have to fertilize them because they capture their own bugs and they live in a tank. And we have nepenthes, and we also have Venus flytrap, which is a common one that a lot of people try to grow at home. It rains. So there's acid in these that it produces itself, a digestive juice, and when it rains, this little lid closes to prevent the digestive juices from getting diluted. And then it opens up again. Yeah, they're very cool. And these bulbs are lined with hair that grows down. So a bug flies in and then can't climb up the sides because of the opposing growth of the hair. And then it's digested by the acidic juice that the plant produces in the bulb. They're
really interesting little creatures.
And contrary to popular belief, it's not a good idea to feed a hamburger because every trap on a Venus flytrap only has the capability of closing around a food source 5 times, and then that trap dies. So if you're feeding it hamburger every day, you're going to get much less longevity from each trap than you will if you let it just catch flies or other insects on its own.